3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Hey guys, just dropping a quick video here. A testimony for Married into Crazy coaching. Great coaching. I was able to speak with Ernie, and he was able to help me fill in some gaps. I felt like I was on a good path already, but I wanted to elevate my game even more. I know I needed a coach to help me do that, and I'm glad that I came here. If you're looking for some great coaching, personal, business, or even with your relationships, look no further. Reach out to these guys. They do great work, and thank you.
Welcome to...
Why are you trying to take my spot? Welcome to episode 114 of the Married into Crazy podcast. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks, and you were taking way too long to say something.
She's a buster.
I'm like, what are you doing?
She is a buster.
Wow, I'm a buster?
Yeah, so anyway,
I'm a guy?
that shows my age. So,
So silly.
welcome back to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. We are...
I'm Snooks.
You already said that.
I know.
We
Because you
are...
said welcome to the podcast, so I thought I'd say it again.
Wow.
Anyway.
So we are back. We've been back from vacation, and we still have yet to get back in the groove.
You know what? I don't know if it's so much that is because we came back from vacation as much as it is the time change, because I feel like it's like 11 o'clock at night right now. Now, granted, I appreciate falling back more than I appreciate springing forward because we get another hour.
Right.
But this year is just, I don't know. Every time I turn around, I'm like, what time is it? Like, I'm scared I'm going to miss my bedtime or something. Oh, my goodness.
You know what's worse than that? Walking around the house trying to figure out, is that the right time?
Well, okay.
Because don't nobody in this house change clocks. Yes, I live here.
I'm all okay, because I was about to say you live here, but I changed the clock in the kitchen, and I changed the clock in the bedroom, and I changed the clock in the game, the game room. So what other clock is there that needs to be changed? That's not automatically.
I changed the clock on the
digital.
coffee pot.
Okay, well, that's your job. I don't touch the coffee pot.
So, but that's a lot of change. And seriously, though, that's a lot. Think about it. This time of year, you've got the clock falling back. Is it fall back? Yeah. So
Fall
it fell back.
Spring forward.
And then the weather is changing.
The weather, okay. I just got to say this. Totally threw me for a loop. It can't be 80 degrees on Friday and then Monday is 50. I'm like, what the heck? That is bananas to me. It's crazy how the weather just changed like that.
I know it's nuts. And you know, so you got people running around like, okay, is this a polo season, sweater season?
Right.
What is it? What am I doing?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So there's all that. Then of course, you know, we're not going to go deep into it, but then you have the election, you have the change that's taking place there, or not. I don't know what's going on.
Well, and I just want to you know, you said we're not going to talk politics, but history is about to be made. We have the first woman that is going to be in the White House as the vice president and the first woman of color.
That's part of the executive branch. Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's awesome. That's just that's historic. And one of the girls I work with, she asked me, she goes, hey, do I have, you know, talking about her time off and stuff. And she goes, I think I want to cancel my vacation and take it in January. And I was like, oh, okay. She goes, I'm going to the inauguration. I said, are you serious? She's like, yep. I told my son history is being made. So I got online and I looked at prices for tickets, $239 round trip. I said, I know you're lying. She's like, nope. She goes, now they ain't say nothing about the hotel, but
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So she's going. I said, that's awesome. You know,
that would be pretty sweet. I wish I would have done that back when Barack Obama went into office.
Didn't we talk about that?
We did, and then we just didn't follow through on it.
Yeah. I don't think I had time off anyway, but anyway.
And we didn't have that kind of money at that time. No, but it's one of those things where all this change is taking place. And not only that, but then you got seasons. We talked about the weather, but this is that holiday time, right? Soon as Halloween is over, everyone automatically just hops Thanksgiving and goes straight to Christmas. So everywhere you go, there's Christmas trees, there's decorations. Got my wife politicking here in the house talking about, did you go by Lowe's? Did you see those decorations that I want?
I want those boxes. Don't say because I promise you right now, I was like, I'm just gonna order them and they're gonna show up on the doorstep.
Well, we need to look, but so all this change is taking place, and it just, I don't know, it makes me wonder, how built are we, or how well are we built for change? Because it's constant. People always talk about, oh, I don't like change. I don't like this. Oh, there's too much change taking place, or there's. I just know that when we watch movies or you watch these TV shows or even just dealing in life, it's like too many changes going on. Too many with COVID, all the changes that took place with the pandemic. Everybody's switching up, going from going to work, living life, going to restaurants, the gym, what have you, and then having to be stuck at home and staring at your wife or your husband day in
and your kids
day out every day.
Okay,
No.
first of all, I was about to say we didn't do that because I was working.
Essential.
Yeah, it was essential. It felt good.
There's somebody
Somebody needed me.
Right. Oh, we need you
And not
here.
to just cook.
Because all day long, all the
And
kids said was,
clean.
when's mom coming home?
I don't know why.
But all this change takes place. And yet it seems like we're still, as an organism, as a people, being human beings, still so resistant.
Well, okay. And I know you're trying to go somewhere with this, but just kind of thinking about change. What kind of holiday season are we going to have this year? Because a lot of people are not going to go see family, or they're not going to, family's not flying in, tickets and whatnot may not be as accessible for Thanksgiving for airplanes. And then some people are just like, I don't know if it's safe to even be around a whole lot of other people. So it's going to be a change in the way that Thanksgiving is celebrated. Even for us, we typically go to your side of the family, spend Thanksgiving with them, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. So we're going to be home, dad and mom's staying at home. My mom is, I'm trying to get her to come over, and she's like, oh, well, I don't know. I'll see. And I'm just like, Linda, stop acting up. Just come over, But
it's turning everybody into homebodies. And
I don't mind being a homebody.
I don't either, but I do know this, that come December, the cleanup at this house is going to be easy as compared. We usually have somewhere around 50 people, and it's always fun. Don't get me wrong. It's always a blast. To have all the family here and the extended family. And we have like somewhere, any given year, it can be anywhere from 50 to 60 people that are up in this house.
And it's so funny when we talk about that. That is all my mother's brothers and sisters, all their kids and their kids' kids. So it's not like they're, just, it's a lot of friends that come. That's straight family, And the girls were even talking about that. Are we having Christmas this year? I was like, well, we're putting up a Christmas tree. She goes, Mom, you know what I'm talking about. It's Kiana. Are we having a party? I said, I don't know.
It's funny they call it a party.
I know. I'm like, it's just dinner. It's a party for them. So that's going to be a big change. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it if we don't get to do the party.
Well, it's not just us. Think about all the families, all the traditions across the United States. Look, I'd be very curious for all of you that are listening. What's your Christmas tradition? Do you guys have big families, small families? Do you travel? Yeah, Thanksgiving as well. Do you normally go someplace? What are you doing this year? How is it different this year than in years past? Mm-hmm. What are your plans? Are you making plans? Earlier I was on a call with a lot of the other extreme execution coaches, and we do this training with some of the leadership. And Nikki was on there. First thing Nikki was talking about was, okay, where am I going for Thanksgiving? Who's cooking? And somebody called her out and was like, are we to take it that you can't cook? And she was like, don't get it twisted. She was like, I'm Black and Puerto Rican. I can burn.
Can throw down.
But
I just don't want to cook.
She's like, I don't clean up. She goes, if it's 30 minutes or more, not my bag.
That is funny. I ain't mad at her. I heard that.
And so tell us, what are y'all going to do? Where are you going? What's your tradition? I'd like to know. Go ahead and text us at our Iron Tribe community. If you haven't already joined, it's fun. We send out messages from time to time, inspirational things, different things that we see in the media regarding relationships. But it's also a way for you to contact us directly. Give us some immediate feedback. But you can actually call us at
918-351-2799. That's my favorite part.
Oh, my bad. So it's 918-351-2799. Go ahead and text us right now and type in the word podcast. And what we'll do is make sure that we put you at the very top of the list. Not just kidding. Everybody's on the list.
I was like, what?
No, there's no priority, but there's no VIP. We should create a VIP though. But go ahead and text us. Let us know, where are you going to be going? What's your tradition? And if you can also respond to us directly on any of our social media at marriedintocrazy.com.
I'm sorry, but not just what's your tradition. What is your tradition and how is it going to be changed this year? What's different?
That's, you know what?
Go ahead.
Let me ask you that. What?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's different?
Besides COVID?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like what we're doing for the holidays?
I know it's going to be different, but okay. So the holidays situation.
I have to cook.
Okay. True that. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, just playing.
I was like, we just have a whole bunch of mac and cheese.
All right, because you can burn on that mac and cheese.
That's it. That's all I got.
Else, you got skills, girl. You got skills.
I was about to say, dang, that's hurtful.
No, but honestly though, is it really going to be different? I mean, I know I said it's going to be different because of all these, but what I've also noticed is that with all this change, I feel like there's so much more enrichment. There's more time together. I've probably grown significantly closer to our daughters.
Okay. Because when you said I probably grown, and then I heard, I thought you were going to say sick of them.
Oh, every now and then, yes.
No,
but I mean, Shanti.
I think so.
Shanti the other day was like, Dad, would you say that we're best friends? And that just tickled me pink. I was like, your mother is my best friend, but you and I, we hang.
Yeah.
Just giving her a hard time.
Well, she told me I was one of her best friends like 6 months ago. So
he's gonna try and say that. Okay, so I
just gotta let you know.
You got the VIP.
Come in second, babe. It's okay.
I'm second team All-American, and your first team.
You got the twins, so be quiet.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. But even with all the changes that have taken place, it's still enriching. There's something positive, immensely positive, that still comes out of the adversity.
I agree with that. I feel like don't get it wrong, they've been going, but there's been more conversation. I feel like, even with Kiki's typically more to herself, but I come home and she'll come in the room, Mom, guess what? Blah, 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 whatever. And she's telling me, and then I'll follow her back to her room and I'll get on her bed. And, I have things I have to do, but I'm taking time out to make sure that we're having conversation, we're talking, and we're doing that more now than we have before, so. That's
funny to me because how many years have I been her volleyball coach?
Oh, I'm her twin.
Since 12.
Yeah. Right?
So for going on for like 6 years.
Yeah, I was about to say 6 years.
I have been almost 6 years, been her coach. And when we drive to practice, it's quiet. No matter how much
she's talking more.
Yeah. No matter how much I was trying to draw her out, get her to talk to me. What's going on in your life? It was always those robotic responses.
Nothing.
How are you? Fine.
Fine.
Yes. No. And I was like, quit with that monosyllabic response stuff. But now we have conversations, and it's very cool. Mm-hmm. It's kind of brought her out of her shell, at least her comfort level as far as sharing with us. Yeah. Well, I say all that because I think that with all this change, that's something that we need to be aware of as a couple also.
Right.
What you need?
I'm sorry, the phone was making noise. I know what it was.
Oh, I couldn't hear it, so leave it alone.
Oh, I could.
So what are the changes that take place in marriages? Because with all this discussion about change and how things, different seasons, all of that, I truly believe that much like Kiana and them, right? Like we're just talking about Keek and how even in getting older, it's changed. And then the level of our responsibility and Shanti reaching out and saying, hey, do you think we're best friends? It's just, it's taken on a new life. It's like a new season, new relationship. And I think in marriages, we also have to be open to change and being different. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, but I think your spouse deserves a new you. Mm-hmm. Don't just change. Don't just go from the polo to the sweater in the season. It's time to actually switch up and make sure that you're giving your spouse the new, greatest, better version of you as well.
Right. Like we upgraded our computer system. We got a new computer, I should say, not computer system, but we got a new computer. And in getting a new computer, there were things that we needed to get, programs and whatnot, to make sure that it's functioning efficiently and that it, something that's we're going to be able to utilize at all times. Had we, we couldn't keep the old programs with the new computer because that's counterproductive. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to upgrade my computer, I should upgrade my systems and I should upgrade whatever the apps are and that kind of thing, because if I feel like if I don't do that, or if we don't do that, we just have a new box and all the old stuff is just running through it anyway.
Come with it. Look, you're talking about
trying.
You had to upgrade that operating system.
Right, exactly.
Which is so funny. So, and I'm going to tech out a little bit, but when I was going through the process with Apple of switching the computer, I couldn't do it on my own. There's a migration process where trying to take all of your old information and transfer it to the new computer. For the life of me, could not get it to work. Had it on Wi-Fi and they weren't seeing each other. And for whatever reason, it just was not working. So I had to get Apple Care involved. And it took a good minute for this to actually take place, like half a day. And in doing this, though, the guy pointed out that the operating system that we had been operating on for so long was so old and not corrupted. He said, but it's just so slow. He asked like 3 or 4 different times, how did you? He did. He honestly did. He said, how have you been using this computer? Because he goes, it's so slow. And I know in the back of his mind, he's like, I could almost hear the dial-up tone.
Right.
Because it was that
AOL.
And so he had said that, oh, look at this. And he pointed out, it's like, your operating system is so old on this computer. So it was 9 years old, 9.5 years old.
Wow. And
he was saying there's no way, for as much data as you have on your computer, I'm surprised this hadn't crashed a long time ago.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's something that you said that kind of stuck with me. And you said that the new computer system was not they saw each other, but they couldn't read each other.
Right.
That's how you put it?
Yep.
How many times have we been in our relationships? I see you, I hear you, but I'm not comprehending. There is that disconnect. And that's exactly what was happening between the old and the new. The disconnect. They saw each other, they just couldn't read each other. And so you're sitting here running the thing over and over. Why the heck is this not working? Because I can see the arm and I can, whatever it is, and it should happen, it should work, but it's not.
For whatever reason.
And it took someone else to come in and say, oh, aha, this is why it's not working, because X, Y, and Z. So that's what happens sometimes. We have to.
Oh, and that's why you need a coach. That is absolutely why you need a coach. Listen, you know that we have the podcast because you're listening to it right now.
Hello.
You know that we do a monthly workshop where we work with couples and kind of doing a comprehensive needs analysis where we actually, when it comes to communication and helping people really look at how you're communicating, right? Utilizing the flight assessment, the DISC assessment that both Snooks and I have been certified in, and I'm actually an Intermetrics consultant, certified. And we use these things to help couples really start that conversation about, okay, how do we make sure that we don't just see each other, but that we actually comprehend each other? Mm-hmm. And that's why you need a coach. Because like I had Apple Care come in it's crazy how even in our relationships, sometimes you need a third party, somebody to come in and to help you say, well, that's what I said. Well, yep, but that's not what she heard, or that's not what he heard.
Right.
And if we can just tweak our language just a little bit, you will be that much more effective in making sure that you're not just heard, but you're listened to.
And let me say this too. We had someone that was on our that did our workshop with us, and we talk about crazy as it pertains to how we communicate, and the acronym crazy: compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding. And someone had almost like a breakthrough in a sense, and this person was like, you know when I hear it and the definition of it and how you break it down as to how it applies to relationships, it makes me rethink the relationship that I'm in. Should I even be in this relationship? Should I even be, is this something that I want to continue with? And I thought, I was like, wow, that was
It was deep.
yeah, that was kind of a deep thing for
And
me, because it's like,
we're not promoting divorce. This person was not married yet.
no, she was not married. But it's just that, okay, so it can make you just be like, huh, okay, that's another way of thinking about it. When people hear crazy, they automatically, I feel like a lot of times people automatically go negative. Oh, why would I want to be married and crazy, even though some people swear their spouse is crazy? But when we break down what crazy is, and it's, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And that's the thing, that's what we want to do. We want to talk about how crazy are you in your relationship, in your marriage? How crazy are you for your marriage?
Einstein, was it Einstein? Yeah. Albert Einstein has a definition that I don't know if he really said it or not, but he's always attributed as being the one that said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result. Well, on the negative side of crazy, how crazy is it to think that if you keep being the same person that you were 10, 15, 20 years ago,
without making any type of changes, adjustments, or anything,
that you're going to be even remotely relevant in your spouse's life? You can share children, you can share a home, you can share the kitchen, you can share a bed, but it doesn't mean that you're relevant to each other anymore. You have to make these changes. And I think that when we look at the seasons changing, the weather changing, the holidays, our elected officials, all these things, these are just constant reminders that we as couples, we as individuals, as we contribute to a couple, we have to change as well. So be more open to that change that's taking place. And I guess my question, we've already asked several questions, but one of my questions is, what can you do to create change, or not even create change? What can you do to upgrade? Like, we had to upgrade our operating system and a computer, let me ask you, Snooks.
Well, I think the first thing, okay, so for me, you recognize that there is an issue. So if we never recognize that there was an issue, I'm just going to use the computer analogy. If we never recognized that there was an issue with the operating system, we would have kept that old computer. And that old computer, it kind of, it worked just the way some relationships work. It was just enough for us to do what we needed to do. So we put that much energy into, oh, well, we're married. Yeah, I'm just going to do enough just to make sure she ain't complaining, or I'm going to do enough just so I don't got to hear his mouth. And even though we know it's faulty in a sense, because we know it could be better. Just like with our computer, it would take forever to start up. Sometimes it would crash, and then sometimes, and so then we're sitting there like, oh my God, okay, let's get some stuff off of it. But we were only doing surface replacements, like trying to put I don't know,
like a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Yeah, or something like that, But we knew that it's like, I know that I need to have surgery, but I'm just gonna put a Band-Aid on it. And that's what we were kind of doing with our computer system. That's what happens a lot of times in relationships. there are changes that need to be made. There are things that need to happen because it's not necessarily going the way that you want it to go. You're not really happy with it, but you don't want to invest in it. Well, our investment was monetary. A lot of times the investment, it doesn't have to be monetary. It's your time. It's what are you willing to give up? you know, Instead of you sitting down Monday night watching a football game. I don't want to sound like I'm just picking on the guys, but what if that can be our time together or something? Instead of her, instead of you watching whatever reality show, I don't know. What if that could be our time to get reacquainted, get um recommitted, reconnected to each other? But what happens sometimes is that we go, you watch the game, I'll watch the reality show, and we just continue to pass by each other or just barely make it, or all the while complaining about. I mean, there are things that we could do to get this relationship, reboot that system,
Ooh.
but but we don't, because I want to take time out. Or what if he's not receptive? Or what if she's never going to be happy about whatever anyway? So instead of investing in each other and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to bite the bullet and let's just headed off at the pass or whatever is not a saying,
Yes.
something like that. They just, I don't, it's all right. It's all right. We all right. No, you're not.
And it just festers.
I mean, and if you're all right and you're just all right and you're happy with just being all right, then okay. But not if, don't say, oh, we're all right. We're all right. And then go complain about the person to someone else. You're not all right then.
And that's one area of our lives where we don't need to just be all right.
Yeah.
It can't just be a good marriage. Because think about your job.
It can be, but.
No, it can be. But here's the thing. There's many people that go to work, right? You have a job. You go there and you're like, hey, how was your week? Oh, I got to go back to the job. Oh, I got to do, it's like, oh, and you're like, oh, but you'll cry the moment you get fired because you can't pay your bills. Mm-hmm. But it's just the place that you have to go. And it's like, somebody said a long time ago that many people die an early death, but they're not buried until they're in their 60s, 70s,
right.
80s.
You die at 21, but you don't get buried until you're like 75 or something like that. I heard that too.
Because you go to these jobs and it's just like, just this old rigmarole. You're in this rut doing the same thing over and over again just because you have to, and there's no joy. That's not living. And same thing can be said for our relationships, specifically our marriages, where it's not okay just to have an okay marriage or a good marriage. Why not have a great or outstanding or above average or, a phenomenal marriage, something that gives you zeal, something that like makes your fingers and your toes and other parts of your body tingle, get the tingles. But it's one of those things where there's so much opportunity, but and sometimes it's the least amount of change can be the spark you need in order to create that. Mm-hmm. The people think that, and we were one of them. So I'm not accusing anybody. This is something that we went through as well. But so many times we believe that in order to have, to go from a subpar to a good marriage or from a good to a great, that it requires these massive amounts of change. Mm-hmm. Just like working out. People are like, oh, okay, January 1st, I'm going to join the gym and I'm going to go on a diet and I'm going to do this and I buy all this equipment. And realistically, it doesn't last. People have this bounce back, right? You do all these things and it just doesn't last. You think, oh, I did all these changes. But what was really required was maybe it was just, I'm going to drink more water.
Right.
I just need to drink more water. 1%, right? 1 degree of change makes a huge difference. You don't think so? Let's talk about boiling water. At 211, mm-hmm. At 211 degrees, water does not boil. Right? But 1 degree of change, you go from 211 to 212 degrees Fahrenheit, that extra degree of heat makes all the difference in the world. Makes all the difference in the world. You go from super hot water to boiling. It just takes 1 degree of change in your relationship. to go from good to great, from great to phenomenal. But sometimes that 1 degree is so hard to reach because we're just resistant to it. We're resistant to change, that word, that concept, because we think it's so grandiose. There's so much that we need to do. But realistically, it might just be you need to pick your drawers up off the floor, because that's what drives her nuts. That's what sets her off every single day. Pick your clothes up, put them in the hamper. That one little thing might be all she needs to see that you're making an effort to do better. And then guess what? She might be like, oh, you know what? He's making an effort. So she's going to do something extra, 1 degree of change. And then he's gonna be like, wow, this is kind of cool. And before you know it, because this happened in our lives, going back to when Snooks asked for a divorce, these little changes that we made ended up becoming a lot.
Well, I think,
but we didn't know it.
And I'm sorry, but that right there, you just said a lot right there. Those little changes add up to big changes, because no one is expecting, I don't think anyone is expecting for you to just go out and just make all these changes right away, all at the same time. That is going to be a big fail. You do one change, you master that, and then you improve on it. That's just like with working out. Once you're lifting weights or whatever, you start out at 10 pounds. And once you've mastered 10 pounds, then you can move it up to 15 pounds and then move it up to 20 pounds or whatever. No one should be expecting this major change, all these different changes all at one time. Do one small thing, just one change at a time, and you master it. And then you're able to do another one, and you're able to do another one. Because if you do too much too soon, you're going to fail, and you're never going to try again. And you just be like, I did try it. Nah, it didn't work.
Because
you did too much.
Because it's so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So think about the change. I mean, so yes, we're still in COVID season. Yes, there is still a pandemic to a certain extent that's taking place. Yes, COVID-19 is rising again.
I was going to say numbers are going up again.
Yes, it's a requirement to wear a mask wherever you may be in this nation. But with all those changes, you're still breathing. You still wake up in the morning. You still have a spouse or a loved one. You still have, some of us, have jobs to go to, some don't. I mean, I'm not making light of it, but when you look at all this changes taking place, what are you doing to master the little bit that's in your charge, right? That you can actually do.
What control you have.
Yeah, exactly. Control the controllables, but really be about that change in your relationship. Do that 1%. I joke around. I said, oh, pick up your drawers. Well, maybe it's, I don't know, something as simple as, okay, after you brush your teeth and there's like little splatters of toothpaste on the mirror, wipe that, or whatever it may be. Closing cabinets. Like somebody likes to open up drawers and cabinets. That doesn't bother me as much anymore. It's more like,
you better cut it out.
It's more of a little quirk. I'd go nuts if you didn't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
But
I don't know why I do that anyway, but.
Well, let me ask you real quick. I'm just curious. I'm going to put you on the spot.
What?
If there was 1%, that 1 degree of change that you could do that you think that would make a difference, a positive difference in our relationship, what would you do?
Our relationship is perfect. No, I'm playing. Let me see. What would I do? Oh, I would be more aware, probably more cognizant of my time.
Ooh, that would go a long way. I'm just saying.
Lovey gets so bent, and I'm not even late. I'm on time.
No, late.
No, I'm not.
Late. If you're on time, you're late. You need to be there 15 minutes early. So you can be rested and there. Okay, so that's a whole other podcast.
Here's the funny thing, though. It's only to when we're going somewhere he wants to go. If it's somewhere I'm like, oh, can we go? Blah, blah, blah. He does not care. He's like, oh, you's ready. Oh, okay, blah, blah. Only for his friends and family. If it's my side, he's like, oh, I didn't know we were leaving right now.
No, for responsibility, practice, work, things of that nature. But weddings, Things where
Oh,
there's
here we go. It's
other people that
not
are involved.
weddings.
When other people are involved. Anyway, look, you're gonna get me started on this whole other tangent. So let me ask myself the exact same question. Self. If I could change one thing or have 1 degree of improvement
That you start with. Yeah.
it would be to not be so bossy.
Very good. Because I was waiting for you to say, I was going to say it for you. It would be for you to stop telling everybody what to do.
So
Yes.
okay, so
Lovey. Oh, Jesus.
I will. Okay, so I won't tell everyone what to do. I will just stop telling you what to do. We'll work on the kids later.
Okay, I don't care about them either.
We'll work on them later. So those are the things that mean. But honestly, think about that, folks. There's changes in the air.
Mm-hmm.
The winds of change are upon us. The holiday, the weather, COVID-19, the election. There's so much that's going on right now in our lives. And within our relationships, you can either run away from change or ignore it, or you can get ahead of it and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on this 1 degree, this 1%, and I'm going to make this change, and I'm going to be in charge of it, and I'm going to focus on this. I guarantee it'll make a huge difference. Huge.
Well, and I just want to say this too, like Lovey said earlier, that's what we're here for, as far as like, sometimes you need assistance. You don't know how to get started. You don't know how to make those necessary changes. That's what coaches are for. And we've extended ourselves. We put it out there. You know, we have workshops. We have couple to couple coaching. There's individual. Don't hesitate, and don't wait too long either, because you don't ever want to regret not making the phone call or sending the email or signing up for a workshop. You know, one thing that I will always say, if Lovey and I can come back from where we came from, you know, there's hope for everybody. Because I mean, when we say we were like, whatever, you know, there really is, there's hope.
You ever seen that show? If not this TV show, at least some of the movies around zombies, like Dawn of the Dead. That was our relationship.
I'm like, what? Okay.
Our relationship was zombie-like.
It really was. We were very cordial to one another. And then we stopped being cordial. I won't say we stopped being cordial. We just kind of like, whatever. Never bad. It wasn't even
disrespectful.
No, and that's the funny part. We were like, we were a very cordial couple when we were breaking up. We weren't throwing stuff. You know how people break up and there's all this hot passion and everything. We were just like lukewarm.
And here's the problem with that. Just if you really understand the severity of being lukewarm, you should understand that. I mean, it's biblical. You know, be the hot or cold, but something about lukewarm, I will spit you out my mouth.
See, that's why I don't like nothing lukewarm now.
But it's one of those things where our relationship was so bad that we didn't even exert the energy to argue or fight, or there was no passion. There was absolutely none. We were done, beyond done. So if you're not there yet, and even if you are right there and you know exactly what we're talking about, that's a dangerous, dangerous place to be. I mean, yes, it's danger when there's passion, you're arguing, you're calling each other out your names and this, that, and the other. That's bad. But in my estimation, it's worse when you're just like, okay, whatever. Cool. Just that resigned, the resignment or whatever the word is.
No, you're
resignation.
Yeah.
That it's like, no, you're not even worth me even giving a rip right now.
I'm not even gonna break a sweat.
That's dangerous. And that's where we came back from. I'm not saying, look, we're not Lazarus. We're not saying that, you know, we're so miraculous, whatever. No, but we will say is it took work and we had assistance. And that's why we have vowed to help 1 million couples. That is our goal. Whether you think it's doable or not, doesn't matter. What we know is that it's our charge. That's why we're together, is to really help build the sanctity and I guess that's it, the sanctity of marriage and relationships, and to ensure that whatever knowledge, whatever experience we have, we want to share it with you. It's so many different formats here on the podcast on our workshops, through our coaching, and there's going to be more. Our coaching is morphing, it's developing. There's been some opportunities that have been brought to us to really help couples in a much more grand scale, and we're really excited about that. There'll be more to come in the new year about that, but right now, let's continue to focus on you and what you can do by improving 1%, by improving 1 degree.
Just making that necessary change, just that small change, 1 degree. It's not, I mean, I say it's not it's not a lot. It may be a struggle for some, but that just kind of, that 1 degree, if that 1 degree is a struggle for you, that kind of speaks volumes to how far gone you are. But that doesn't mean that there's no coming back from it.
But think about it. If you think back to when we were living over on Trimmer Way,
64th.
I'm sorry, 64th Avenue, and if somebody told you, "Oh, you just got to make a change,"
I mean,
1 degree,
I know.
You'd be like,
I ain't making half a degree.
I was like, say, you tell the story all the time. I was like, no,
I'm good.
I'm not meeting you anywhere.
That's why I can say that.
No, I agree. And so anyway,
I mean, that's why, coming from a place where we came from, that's why we can testify and we can really tell a story. And for those of you that have heard our story, where we came from. And that's just the part that we talk about too, not just the physical stabbing and, the distrust or whatever, and some of the collateral damage. It's so deep,
Go back and listen to episode 39, I believe, Open Heart to Heart. And I know that's the name of the episode. I can't remember if it's number 39 or number 45. We've talked about it many times, over the course of these last 114 episodes, but I'm pretty sure it's episode 39, Open Heart to Heart. Go back and listen to that to really get a vibe for what we were going through at that point when we were about to walk directly into divorce. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, what we want to do is ensure that 2 things take place. One, we're going to do 2 for the road, but then also we're going to continue with our pledge to observe 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence at the end of the podcast. Now on YouTube, you're not going to get the silence piece, but in the audio, whether you're listening to us on however you've downloaded the podcast, you will hear 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence for everyone to reflect on how you can be a better citizen as we continue to move forward as citizens of the United States, how you can be a better neighbor, a better spouse, a better friend, a better parent. So first, we just pulled from the I Can for couples. I don't like mine.
Well,
and you got the affirmations. There's 40 different affirmations that you can pull from the can that helps you kind of just do these little things. Again, the 1 degree that we talk about, it's these little things that you can do and really focus on.
You can find them in the I Can for couples.
Absolutely. And which can be found on our website, marriedintocrazy.com, in the shop. It's really inexpensive. I think it's like $10.95. And you can go there and pick one up. And these are limited edition.
Okay. Mine says, I can do the laundry.
That's not fair because she does the laundry.
Yeah. It's okay. What does yours say?
Oh, mine's like yours. Mine says, I can listen intently. Something I do. It's just what I do all the time.
All the time? Wow. Okay. Giving ourselves high ratings tonight. All right.
Hey, you got to believe in yourself.
That's right. I believe in you.
Got to believe in yourself. Hey, listen, everybody, we appreciate each and every one of you. We are thankful for you listening to the podcast. Be sure to go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rating and a review.
5-star.
And then also be sure to tell a friend. Invite somebody. What would be really fun is if you could actually go to however you're downloading the podcast, take a screenshot of this most recent episode or of episode 39 or episode 5 of the podcast itself or whatever venue you're listening to, screenshot it and share it on social media and invite your friends to participate in the conversation as well. Mm-hmm. And they can also send us questions if you have recommendations. Don't forget, we have our Iron Tribe community, which is that you can text us at which is 918-351.
2799.
So please reach out and let's continue the conversation. So until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.